Commission's Tuesday, January 20th, 2026 special meeting beginning at 5 p.m. This special meeting has a few items on the agenda this evening, followed by a workshop when we finish our work. So first, I'd like to call the meeting to order, and now the attendance. I guess I will do it.
I think that will default to me.
Thank you, Jim.
Catherine's family is sick this evening.
Sorry to hear that.
Commissioner Cloutier.
Present.
Commissioner Katerina.
Here.
Commissioner Tyler.
Here.
Commissioner Gordon.
Here.
And Chair Smith.
Here. Excellent. We have a quorum this evening. Thank you all for attending. Next, we have the Pledge of Allegiance. If you please rise and join me. Thank you. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right, this evening, our agenda, we have new business, and that's item 26-007. That's the authorization of the 2026 general obligation bond in the amount of $3,974,000, period. We have attachments, and I'm going to turn this over to the county manager, please.
Thank you. This item is being brought forward as kind of a initial step on us going out to sale of our 2026 bond. We are currently working with bond advisor and bond counsel. A number of steps in preparation of getting to the sales date. This evening we have our bond advisor here, Dick Ranigan, who's right there in the front row. That if anyone has any questions for Dick, he is available to answer them. This evening we have a bond order that is necessary for the commissioners to act on. As you may remember, back in December, I brought forward to you all an amendment to the bond schedule. And that was because we needed to put another project within the bond schedule, and that was the fire alarm at the courthouse. And we had to reduce the jail roof to be able to accommodate that project. So we were moving forward with the $3.9 million bond that was approved by you all last year around this time. And we are hoping to go out to sale in March after we get through a number of other steps here. One thing I would ask that when we get to the motion part, if the motion could be to remove Section 16 of the bond order. Section 16, as you may have noticed, it had a highlighted for an insertion of $1. We have talked, and we do not feel as though we have any monetary figure to put into that space, and bond counsel has told us that we can remove that from the bond order. With that said, happy to answer any questions that you may have, as well as Dick Ranigan, our advisor, is here also. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Since this is an item on our agenda, is there anyone from the public who would like to speak to this matter? Seeing none, public comment is closed for this item. I'm looking for a motion.
Move passage. Deleting item 16 of paragraph 16.
Section 16.
Section 16 reimbursement, it says.
Second.
So I have a motion by Cloutier, a second by Commissioner Tyler. Yes?
I'd just like to say welcome to Mr. Ranigan. It's always, whenever he comes, he brings money, so we're always glad to see him. It's been going on for quite a while.
Anyone?
Chair,
Yep, speak.
do you have anything to add to the presentation?
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Thank you, Commissioner Cloutier. I assist, along with bond counsel, the county in putting together its bond issues. Just to let you know where, excuse me, the market is right now. Recent issues on 20-year issues have been selling around 3.5%. So it's a good market, interest rate wise. The county is highly rated, and we anticipate that we'll clean a good rate in the marketplace when we go out. It's a competitive sale. We'll be entertaining bids from all over the country.
Excellent. We may have some more questions for you, but thank you for that introduction. We so appreciate it. Any other commissioners' questions or comments? I do have a question, if you don't mind. Thank you for being here. You mentioned the bond rating of 3.5%. Our county manager just mentioned it will probably go out to bond in March. Do you see any fluctuations between now and March? I know it's a hard question to answer, but how do you feel that bond environment will be come spring?
Every time I appear before a town council or a county commission, I get the same question, where's your crystal ball? I do not have one.
Oh, darn it.
With this crazy world that we all live in, and we read the papers every day and see the news, anything could happen. It's been pretty steady over the last few months. I think it's been a good market, and we always hope for the best. If we should get to a point where things just go absolutely crazy, we can always pull back and wait for smoother waters. But I don't see any at this point. And the last two issues I sold in the last 2 months were that 3.3 to 3.6% range, and I hope that's where we would end up.
Excellent. I feel comfortable and confident. Thank you for that answer.
Sure.
All right, anyone else? I guess all those in favor? Show aye. That's a unanimous 5-0. That's approved. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming this evening.
Thank you, Dick.
Okay, next this evening, we have item 26-008. This is the adoption of a successor collective bargaining agreement with the National Corrections Employment Union, NCEU. County Manager, I'll pull to you, or you'll pull to our HR folks.
I'll pass it off to HR.
Excellent, thank you. Amy or Dawn?
I'll start, and if I start coughing, I'm going to pass it to Dawn.
Okay.
We started negotiations with the NECU in September of 2024. In February, the union filed for mediation, and we had a number of meetings with the mediator that resulted in a tentative agreement, and it was presented to the body in October of 2025, and they rejected the agreement. So we did have a couple of other discussions prior to filing for fact-finding, and the union put it up for another vote at the beginning of January, and it was successful. So we have met the commissioner's guidance. We did not exceed it, as was the goal, and we have a 2-year agreement starting in July 2025 with a 5% increase, and that will go retro, and then another 4% increase in 2026. We did put in some additional steps, more front-loaded in the wage table for recruitment and retention. And then we did move the current retirement plan from 2C to 3C. Those were the primary financial goals of this agreement. We had a number of memorandums of agreement that we placed in the labor agreement, as well as some language changes and a number of labor management meeting discussions that we'll start with once we get this ratified by the commissioners.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you for the summary of the process and the timeline, and thank you for the hard work and staying within the guidelines we gave you.
Thank you.
It's not always easy, I understand. Anyone from the public, would you like to speak? This is public comment on this item. Seeing no comment, public comment is closed on this item. What is the wish of the commissioners?
Move passage.
Thank you, that's a
Second.
motion by Commissioner Cloutier and Commissioner Katerina is the second. Questions and comments?
We do have the signature page. If you want to take a moment, we could sign it now, or we can do it afterwards.
Sure. Before we take the vote, I just have one quick
Oh, I'm
question.
sorry.
No worries,
Oh,
just
sorry.
a question, and then we'll take the vote.
I'm sorry.
Typically, we see what the increases are in the wages, the guidance that we gave. Is there a fiscal note on this type of a 2-year contract, either by year or the 2 years, that we have an actual fiscal note of the dollars involved?
I did not bring that with me today, but it was within the
Ballpark?
guidelines of what was already, I don't even have the ballpark, I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
Just in totality, it's good to know the amount, but, all right. Any other questions or thoughts? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That shows that unanimous, 5-0, that motion
Make
passes.
sure you got it then.
Pages, yeah. There's 2 signatures.
2 pages of signatures coming around. That's
Thank you.
Yep, you are welcome, thank you so much. The last item we have this evening is item 26-009. That's the acceptance of the fiscal year 25 Emergency Management Performance Grant Award. County Manager, over to you.
Thank you. We're bringing forward the 2026 EMPG grant that the county receives through Maine Emergency Management Agency. These are FEMA funds that are passed through MEMA at the state, and they're in support of operations within the county EMA department. Typically, the commissioners see this document October of each year. It has been delayed, and we are just receiving it as of last week. Bear with me as I try to explain some things here, because I'm asking you to approve this document, but I'm also throwing out a word of caution in doing so. As you may remember in the fall, I had reported that the contracts that we were receiving from FEMA, MEMA, had some terms and conditions attached to them that were not favorable to the county. It largely had to circle around immigration language and prohibition of DEI policies and efforts. And we were not willing to sign on to those terms and conditions. Subsequently, there were lawsuits filed from municipalities across the United States, and 2 court cases took hold, one in Illinois and one in Rhode Island. And the Rhode Island is more particular to us as it's within our region. They both went through a court proceeding where the judge had handed down that the language that was being proposed in the terms and conditions was unconstitutional and should be struck and removed out of the terms and conditions. So here we are. We've been waiting for a contract. The contract came in that had the same terms and conditions of what we saw back in September. And when we raised the question with MEMA, MEMA said that the FEMA was supposed to be modifying it, but had not modified it just yet. However, the MEMA contract had a provision, it's Article 63, it's the last page of the MEMA contract that I included into your packet, as MEMA is really the subrecipient from FEMA, and we're just the subrecipient of MEMA. You got that?
Say that 3 times.
Sub.
So MEMA has signed off on their contract because Article 63 within their contract makes reference to the Illinois court case and the Rhode Island and how they turned out being deemed unconstitutional. However, FEMA, who writes the terms and conditions on our contract, did not modify it just yet. So we're still living with some old language. However, we have the assurance of the Rhode Island court case that is unconstitutional. In working with our attorney has advised us that, yes, the county should feel comfortable today signing the contract with the Rhode Island court case as it stands. However, the federal government has appealed the Rhode Island and the Illinois cases. And as a result of the appeal, who knows what could come of the language, whether it would, whether the next level court would deem the lower court or overrule them. So what I'm asking for this evening is for us to sign this contract, because it does play a large role within our operation and funding of our operation on an annual basis. However, we will be sending a letter accompanying this contract that if any change to the legal outcomes of the Rhode Island case take hold, we reserve the right to readdress the contract and remove the county out of the contract If the language gets changed, then we revert back to the original language proposed. Long story, very muddy. However, our attorney feels as though typically the courts, if a ruling like this doesn't get overturned all that often, she feels that we'd probably be on good ground, but should be sending this letter accompanying our awareness of the terms and conditions, and that we will not be living under the current language, and we'll be living under the language as set forth by the Rhode Island courts. And if anything changes, we will be removing ourselves away from the contract. So with that said, sorry for the confusing item, but it's one that has been confusing since September, and without FEMA doing a lot of work on their end to clear things up because of the 2 court cases, we're left with some old language and some new language and legal interpretation to guide us. So, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you for the summary, appreciate that. I know it wasn't-
And, I'm sorry, Michael Durkin, EMA Director, is here to answer any questions that I may have not been able to answer.
Michael, do you have anything to add at this time?
No, Jim summed it up pretty well, actually.
Great, just want to make sure, give you proper time if you need it. Thank you for the summary, Jim, for the timeframe and all the different facets of what we have before us, I appreciate that. Anyone from the public, would you like to speak? Public comment is now open on this matter. Please state your name and your town before you speak, and you have 3 minutes, thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll be brief. My name is Al Cleveland, and I live here in Portland. I'm thankful for the county manager's great presentation and explanation of the situation. It is really hopeful for me to hear that we can amend contracts with the federal government, that if the contract is not working for our city, for our county, we can go back and change that. So I'm really happy to hear that about this budget item, and I'm really hopeful that we can continue that in the way the county does its business. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to this matter? Seeing no other sorry, yes, County Manager.
I would just want to clarify, if we go back, we won't be amending the contract with FEMA or MEMA. We would be removing ourselves out of the contract completely. So,
Okay, more questions there, maybe, yeah. Okay. Thank you for clarifying. It's a removal, not an adjustment.
correct.
Thank you. Okay, all right, no other public comment. I see the public comments closed. What is the wish of the commissioners?
Move passage.
I have a motion to move passage by Commissioner Cloutier,
Second?
a second by Commissioner Caterina.
I have a bunch of questions, and I'm hopeful that either Jim has this off the top of his head or our folks from MEMA. Do you happen to know the Illinois and Rhode Island cases, were those in federal court? They were. So this was district court proceedings that came out pretty much the same, and the possible appeals would be to the circuit court in Illinois, whoever that is, but also the First Circuit, which is where we are in, okay. And what's the actual effective time frame of this contract?
October to September.
So all we have to do is survive to next September without having to navigate the choppy waters? Is that the?
Yes, but this is a funding source that we get on an annual basis. So if it's not going to impact us on this budget, it could the next budget.
Yeah, I understand, of course, but, all right, well, that, even if we thought that we were gonna face some rocky road here, it's pretty unlikely it would happen by next September. So I think it's great to just go ahead.
Any other questions? Yes, Commissioner Gordon.
Thank you, Commissioner. I guess my concern is, what it really boils down to is the money and what gets spent or consumed during the project. What is there any provision so that we can try to stop a clawback? Or is that what the letter is going to include? So that, how do we address that issue?
They do not send us the money all at once, so there is no clawback. It would be,
It's after the
we
fact.
we have to draw down the funding that we use.
Answers your question? Okay. Yes.
Quick question. So what you're saying, if we get money and we spend it, and then this whole thing blows up, do we have to replace it, or is it money already spent?
My guess is that it would probably be money already spent, and we would be foregoing any balance that we had left in the grant.
Okay, thank you.
So,
And yes, more questions? Go ahead.
well, no, I was just gonna make a comment that right at the moment, there's a federal judge in Rhode Island who said you are not allowed to enforce that regulation. So, I mean, they don't get to claw back if they end up, I assume that our council would have thought of that, you know, and there's no clawback until if the judge gets reversed, then you can't do it anymore, that's for sure. But
Thank you.
until it's resolved, but this is the kind of thing that wanders off to the Supreme Court eventually.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it
And
will.
that takes a couple of years.
Any other comments or questions? I have just for clarification, so the letter that goes off with this says that we will remove ourselves from the contract. It doesn't say we're going to sue the government for what they've done or anything like that. It's not like we're going to threat to sue. It's just, we're going to remove ourselves, whatever time and place it might be, regardless of what money has come down or not.
We would, if we hear from the courts that the courts have ruled in a different way,
Right.
we would definitely be bringing it back to the commissioners for your review and authorization of anything.
I guess I have one other question for the director, if you don't mind. Since we just heard a lot about the money piece of it, whether we would have to pay back money or account for the monies. If we're concerned that the appeal goes through and the appeal isn't awarded to the federal government, you know, is there any way we can front load spending all this money as fast as we can on the county's behalf?
There's little wiggle room in
Okay.
that area because the funding is a flat just over 40% of my entire budget.
Yep.
And 80-some% of my budget is staffing.
Yep.
So there's not too much wiggle room there. Yeah,
Okay.
there's a couple things we could
Project-based?
try to do, but it relative to the amount of the grant, it's staffing. So it's a very consistent monthly spend. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. I didn't know if it was project-related or, you know, set-asides or, okay, good to know. Thank you so much. All right, so I guess, anyone have any other questions? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay? Nay. It passes 4-1. Nay is Commissioner Smith. Okay, that is the end of our agenda for this evening for our special meeting. Thank you, everyone, for being here and we'll take a two-minute recess and then we'll begin with our workshop. Thank you very much.
Don't we have to adjourn?
Yes.
I move we adjourn?
Yes, okay, sure, we can adjourn
Second.
now rather than recess, sure. I have a motion on the floor for adjournment by Commissioner Gordon and a second by Commissioner Caterina. All those in favor of adjournment?